Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the class on probability. We are discussing the important concepts of probability here in this class. Already, we have started many concepts on probability till now. We have discussed repeated tiles events. We have discussed about the problem on dice, problem on coin, general problems on probability. We have already discussed. In today class, we'll go further and we'll discuss the concepts on probability, not specific to any specific topic. Okay, so let's come to this question number 24. So in question number 24, here it is given that there's a person A. The probability that A can solve the question is 4 by 5. Okay, so if A can solve the question is 4 by 5, that A cannot solve the question will be 1 by 5. I hope everyone agree with me. Probability that B can solve the problem is 2 by 3. So the probability that B cannot solve the problem will be 1 by 3. Okay, similarly talking about C, the probability that C can solve the problem is 3 by 7. So then the probability that C cannot solve the problem, that will be 4 by 7. I hope this much clear with everyone. Okay, so here is that what is your question? Question is that commute the probability that the problem will be solved. Imagine if I give a problem to A, I give the problem to B, I give the problem to C, and the probabilities that they can solve the problem is given to us. Okay, we need to find what is the probability that the problem will be solved. Okay, guys. So for me, doesn't matter who is giving me the answer. Either A is giving me the answer, or B is giving me the answer, or C is giving me the answer, or A and B give, C does not give, A and C give, B does not give, or B and C gives, A does not give, or A, B, C, all three of them give. So for me, doesn't matter who is giving me the answer. One person giving me the answer, either A or B or C, or any two of them giving me the answer, or all three of them giving me the answer. For me, what matters is that I should get the answer for the problem. I hope you understood this. So when you are solving this question, so it is general assumption, or if you want, you can write also assumption that the given that the probability that A solve the problem with respect to the probability that B solve the problem with respect to the probability that C solve the problem are independent. So you can that take as an assumption. So you can assume that. So in the events A, B, and C, let you can simply want to make the scenario complicated. You can write like this. Let A1 is the event that A solve the problem. Simply A solve the problem. Let A2 is the event that B solve the problem. I hope you understood. Let A3 is the event that C solve the problem. Given that A1, A2, A3 are independent events. I hope you understand it. So given A1, A2, A3 are independent events. Are independent events. So you can write all this there. I hope you people are understanding this. So whenever what happens, guys, when you have independent event? So what happens when you have independent event? So when you have independent event, then the probability of A intersection, A1 intersection, A2 intersection, A3 intersection, that would be probability of A1 into probability of A2 into the probability of A3. In case if A1, A2, A3 are independent events. I hope you know this all. Okay, so if A1, A2, A3, if they are dependent event, if A1, A2, A3, if they are dependent event, sorry, not dependent event, if they are mutually exclusive event, if they are mutually exclusive event, exclusive event means they can never happen together. So the intersection of A1, A2, A3, then it would be 0. So I believe you know this all this. In case of whenever we talk about conditional probability, so we'll discuss what is conditional probability henceforth. So I hope you people are understanding. So the probability that A solve or probability that A1 gonna happen, that is given to us, that is 4 by 5. So A1 is 4 by 5. So A2, B solve the problem, that is A2, that is 2 by 3. And C solve the problem, that is A3, that is given to us is 3 by 7. Okay. So guys, what you want here, what we want actually, what is the question? Question is that compute the probability that the problem will be solved. So what I want to know the probability that the problem will be solved. Problem will be solved. Where A1 is the probability that A can solve the problem, A2 is the probability that B can solve the problem, A3 is the probability that C can solve the problem. I need to find the probability that the problem will be solved. So what actually I need to find, guys? Probability of A1 union A2 union A3. This I need to find. Or other way, if you don't like set theory and all, but other way, what I'm looking for that at least one of them solve the problem. If you want to understand in English, at least one of them solve the problem. At least one of them solve the problem. This is what I'm looking for. For me, it doesn't matter who's solving the problem. Either A solving, B solving, or C solving, or any two of them are solving, or all three of them solving. I just want the problem to be solved. So with this, I can say that, so probability that at least one of them solve the problem. So in order to get that value, so you can either do it like this, that that one of them solve the problem, probability that one of them solve the problem, probability that one of them solve the problem, plus probability that any two of them solve the problem, probability that any two of them solve the problem, plus probability that all three of them solve the problem. This we need to find. So this is nothing but this is equal to 1 minus, this is nothing but this is 1 minus the probability that none of them solve the problem. I hope everyone understanding, right? So either you do it like that way, or otherwise you simply find this value, 1 minus probability that none of them solve the problem. So which is more easier? This is more easier. So probability of A1 union A2 union A3, that is 1 minus probability that neither A1 solve the problem, neither A solve the problem, neither B solve the problem, neither C solve the problem. We need to find this. So here this is because the independent event. This is 1 minus probability that neither A solve, neither B solve, neither C solve. So this is 1 minus A solve the problem is 4 by 5. A not solve the problem is 1 by 5. B solve the problem is 2 by 3. B not solve the problem is 1 by 3. C solve the problem is 3 by 7. C does not solve the problem is 4 by 7. So we just need to solve this. 15 sevens are 105. So your probability is 101 by 105. See, just ask me anyone have any doubt. Anyone, any doubt? Anyone, any doubt? You understanding now? So solving like this, that A solve the any one of them solve the problem. So any one of them solve the problem means A. If A solve, okay, then B and C does not solve. Okay, so then if B is solving, then A and C are not solving. I hope you understanding. Then if A and B are not solving, then C is solving. Plus any two of them solve the problem means A and B solve, C does not solve. Then A A and A and C solve, B does not solve. Okay, then A does not solve, B and C solve. Okay, so plus all three of them solve. So you either do this or you do this. Both will give you the same answer. Here you want me to do alternative way, I can do like that way also. So with that we'll get the same answer, 101 by 105. Ask me question guys if you have any doubt. Can I go ahead? Like the same way, you can solve this question also. The question number 25, very similar to what we did. Question number 24. Try this question, guys, everyone. Question number 25, if you see, it is given that a man hit a target once in a 4 shot. So the probability that he hit the target is 1 by 4. So the probability that he does not hit the target would be 3 by 4. So if you fire 4 shots in succession, what is the probability that he hits his target? So if he's firing 4 shots in succession, what is the probability they hit the target? So here again, it doesn't matter that which shot is hitting the target. It doesn't matter that like either any of the 4 shot hit the target or any 2 of the 4 shot hit the target or any 3 of the 4 shot hit the target or all the 4 shot hit the target. What he want, his shot should hit the target. I hope you're understanding. So again, to find this is like find the you have to find at least what you need to find here, at least one shot hit the target. At least one shot hit the target. So if you're trying to find that, that is 1 minus the probability that none of the shots hit the target. One minus for not hitting the target, that is 3 by 4 to the power 4. If you solve, you will get 175 by 256. 3 to the power 4 is 81 and 4 to the power 4 is 256. So 1 minus 81 by 256. Clear everyone? Yeah. So I hope you people are understanding. Dice problem we'll do later on when I'll teach you dice. This 28 question is like that only, guys. Question number 28, same like what we did just now. An anti-aircraft gun can fire 4 shots in a succession if the probability of first, second, and third and last shot hitting the target is given to you. Okay, so the probability that the first shot hit is 0.7, probability that the second shot hit 0.6, third shot hit is 0.5, fourth shot hit is 0.4. So you can find the individual probability of not hitting the target. That would be 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6. If what are the probability that the 4 shot aimed at the enemy aircraft will bring the aircraft down. So here doesn't matter that which shot hitting the enemy aircraft, either 1 shot out of 4 or either any 2 shots out of 4 or either any 3 shots out of 4 or either all of the 4 shots hit the target, the enemy aircraft will come down. I hope you understand it. So that way what you need to find, so the probability that the aircraft will come down, that is probability that at least one of the shot hit the target. That means 1 minus the probability that none of the shot hit the target. I hope you understand it. So it's like this. 1 minus the probability that the first one not hit the target, 1 minus 0.7. The second one not hitting the target, 1 minus 0.6. Third one not hitting the target, 1 minus 0.5. Fourth one not hitting the target, 1 minus 0.4. I hope you people are understanding. Clear everyone? 1 minus 0.3 into 0.4 into 0.5 into 0.6. You just find this value. So 4 3s are 12, 12 5s are 60. 60 into 6, 360. 4 decimal. 0.036. This is 4. This is 6, 9. 0.964. I hope you are understanding. This all are the scenario of at least. Whenever you get at least, it's like 1 minus probability that none of the event happens. So you need to understand, guys, if I ask what is the probability that at most 2 shot hit the target. So at most 2 shot means none of the shot hit plus 1 shot hit and any 2 shot hit. So probability that none of the shot hit here, none of the shot means number of occurrence would be 1. One shot hit means 4C1. Out of 4, anyone. They have not defined which one. So you will take all the 4 scenarios, 4C1, and then 2 shot hit means 4C2. 6 ways. Any 2. So 1, 2, any 2 shot hit the target. So it can be 1, 2 are hitting. It can be 1, 3 are hitting. It can be 1, 4 are hitting. So where 3 and 4 not hitting, 2 and 4 not hitting, 2 and 3 not hitting. I hope you are understanding. Okay, then it can be 2, 3 are hitting, 1, 4 are not hitting. Okay, it can be 2, 4 are hitting, 1, 3 are not hitting. Okay, so it can be 3, 4 are hitting, 1, 2 are not hitting. So you will see here you have 6 scenarios, and then you will work on individual scenario. You know the probability of hitting is how much, probability of not hitting is how much. Clear na everyone? You all are understanding. The sum total of all the probability will be 0. Okay, so if you spend time working on, so you will get the sum total of all the probability will be 0. So probability that none of the shot hit the target. 1 minute. Probability that none of the shot hit the target or any one of the 4 shot hit the target, then the probability that any 2 of the shot hit the target plus the probability that any 3 of the shot hit the target plus the probability that all the 4 shot hit the target, the sum total of that probability will be equal to 1. So if you see this question number 29, again, one of the very favorite question of many exam. So A speak truth in 60% of cases and B speak the truth in 70% of cases. So you are getting, so the probability that A speak the truth is 0.6 or 3 by 5 or 6 by 10, anything. Probability that B speak the truth is 0.7 or 7 by 10. Okay, so what is the probability that they will do the same thing while describing a single event? So means if both are telling truth, they will like, so both will do the same, both will describe the same event, means how, what is the probability that both will do the same thing while describing single event, means, so what this means that A and B both are telling truth at the same time plus A and B both are telling lie at the same time. So like that. So it means you don't think too much about this problem. This is like that. So it means both are telling truth at the same time, that is 0.6 into 0.7. Again, all are independent events. Okay. So all the problems, whatever we have discussed till now, all these are the problems based on independent event. So both of them tell the truth at the same time. So these are independent events. So A intersection B would be A into B. Plus both are telling lie also same time, then also they will tell the same thing. Okay, so that probability, this will be 0.4 into 0.3. So this would be 0.54. If they ask you what is the probability that both will describe different thing, so it like A is telling truth, B is telling lie, A is telling lie, B is telling truth, then they will differ. Or the probability that both will explain the same thing in the same way, means both are telling truth at the same time plus both are telling lie at the same time. Clear, right? Anyone, any doubt? Any doubt, anyone? Like if you see this question number 30, a birthday candle packet contains 3 red, 4 white, and 5 green candles. 3 candles are drawn off random to pick on the birthday candle. What is the probability that candles are of different color? So candle of different color means you are picking 3 candle and all should be red, different color means only possibility is that one should be red, another one should be white, another one should be green. I hope you are understanding. So that is only one possibility. No, you're picking 3 candle, you have 3 kinds of candle, and you are working on the probability that all should be different in color. So this is same as like what is the total number of candle? 12 candle. No, total number of candle are 12 candle. Correct, right? So all and you're picking 3 candle, all should be different in color. So this is as good as 3C1 into 4C1 into 5C1 divided by 12C3. That is the answer. So this 3C1 is 3, 4C1 is 4, 5C1 is 5, 12C3 12 into 11 into 10 divided by 6. So you can solve it, you will get the answer. This is 2za, this is 2za, then this and this get cancelled. This is 3 by 11. Anyone, any doubt? Anyone, any doubt, any question? So here this problem was easy in the sense that you have 3 kinds of candle, red, white or green, and you are picking 3 candle. So definitely only one case is possible here, guys, that all 3 should be of different in color. I hope you are understanding. So the probability that it doesn't matter which I'll pick where. I hope you are agreeing with me. So the probability that I'll pick a red candle is 3 by 12. Probability to pick a red candle is 3 by 12. Probability to pick white candle would be, if I pick first candle and that is red in color. So here if I pick first candle and that is red in color, the probability of that would be 3 by 12. Then the second candle when I pick, the probability that it should be white in color. So that would be what? That would be 4 by 11. Okay, the third candle what I pick, it should be green in color. The probability of that would be 5 by 10. I hope you are understanding. So 3 kinds of candle are there. So 6 cases will be there: red, white, green, red, green, red, green, white, white, green, red. It can be white, red, green. It can be green, red, white. It can be green, white, red. Total 6 cases will be there. So it does. So you can simply multiply this. So 6 into 3 by 12 into 4 by 11 into 5 by 10. That will give you the answer. Anyone, any doubt? This and this get cancelled. This is 1 by 2, this is 3. So your answer is 3 by 11. Any doubt, anyone? Please ask me. Are you understanding, everyone? Anyone, any doubt? Clear, everyone? Imagine if I have given you, imagine the same question. Imagine if I just made a little bit complicated. Suppose if I ask you a birthday candle. Suppose if I ask you birthday candle contains 3 red, 4 white, 5 green, and I'll add additional color, something like this, to make the scenario a little bit complicated. Suppose a birthday candle packet contains 3 red, 4 white, okay, and suppose 7 black, something, and 5 green candle. Okay. Now I hope you understand. Now you have total how many candle? 7 plus 7, 14, 14 plus 5, 19. So the total now you have 19 candle. Total you have 19 candles. Okay. Okay. Where you have 3 red, where you have 3 red candle. Okay. You have 4 white candle. You have 4 white candle. You have 7 black candle. You have 7 black candle. And you have 5 green candle. And you have 5 green candle. Clear? Okay. Now, if I pick 3 candle, if I pick 3 candle to be put on birthday cake, what is the probability that the candle are of different in color? Now you have 4 types of candle. They can be red, white, black, or green. And I'm drawing 3 candles. So I'm drawing 3 candle randomly. I'm drawing 3 candles randomly. What is the probability that they should be different in color? So the probability that they should be different in color. So here what I'll do, I'll draw cases. Those candles, so 4C1, 4C3, sorry. So from 4 types of color, I have to pick 3 color which are different in color. So it can be red, white, black. So it can be red, white, green. Okay, it can be white, black. It can be white, black. It can be white, black, green. Okay, so it can be white, black, green, or what color? It can red, white, black, red, white, green. It can be red, black, green. It can be red, black, green. So you will get 4 cases, right? And what you will do, you will find the individual probability in both these 4 cases. So like, so this would be what this, now this you can arrange in in 6 ways, right? So this order can be anything, no? I hope you're understanding. So 6 into 3 by 19 into 4 by 18 into 7 by 17. This this can be 6 into 3 by 19 into 4 by 18 into 5 by 17. This can be third one. The third one can be 6 into white, no, 6 into 4 by 19 into black 7 by 18 into 5 by 17. This would be 6 into 3 by 19 into black 7 by 18 into 5 by 17. I hope you have understood this. So I could have written this anything. I could so the sum total of this denominator, so I know your denominator is 19 into 18 into 17. So this your numerator, if you focus on your numerator is 18 into 28, 18 into 28, 19 into 18 to 17. If you understand, that is 19 P3. Those who understand P3 and all, simply, so this is 18 into 20 by 19 P3. This is 24 into 35 by 19 P3. Denominator is 19 to 17. I hope you remember NCR, NPR. This is 18 into 35 by 19 P3. So sum total of this you do, that is your answer. Can you understand? So your final answer is 18 into 28 plus the final probability is 18 into 28 plus 18 into 20 plus 24 into 35 plus 18 into 35 divided by 19 P3. This is your final answer. You can use calculator, you can find this value. That would be your final answer. Anyone, any doubt? So this you would have written like this. This we would have simply simply write here as what? One candle you're picking up. This would be 3C1 into 4C1 into 7C1 divided by 19C3. I hope you're understanding. This is 3C1 into 4C1 into 5C1 divided by 19C3. If you want to write in NCR form, this would be 4C1 into 7C1 into 5C1 divided by 19C3. This would be 3C1 into 7C1 into 5C1 divided by 19C3. And then you add them. You can understand this part 19C3. When I'm saying 19C3, 19C3 is nothing but 19P3 by 3 factorial, or that is 19P3 by 6. Everyone knows the formula, right? NPR is equal to NCR into R factorial. Any doubt, anyone? So if you want final answer with calculator, I can do normal calculation, but I want to save time. So this is 18 into 28. So 18 into 28 or 18 into 20, that is 360 only. 18 to is 36. Then 24 into 35, 24 into 35. Then 18 into 35, 18 into 35. So sum total of this is 22334. and 19 into 18 into 70, 19 into 18 into 70, 5814. So 2334 by divide by 5814. 2334 divide by 5814. 5814. You solve this, that is the answer. You can simplify this. Will it go by 4? No. It will go by 2. This is 1167 divided by 2907. It will go by 3, so it would be 3, 8, 9. This would be 9, 6, 9. Anyone, any doubt? Any question anyone want to ask? So if you see this question number 31, 32, 33, they are actually based on Bayes theorem, which Bayes theorem is basically, it is in proportion where we discuss inverse conditional probability. So what is basically a conditional probability? Then only we can understand inverse conditional probability. So if I talk about conditional probability, if I talk about conditional probability, so basically conditional probability talks about like this probability of A by B. So it talk like this. So it is basically what is the probability? What is probability A by B? It means what is the probability that event A will happen? What is the probability that event A will happen? What is the probability that event A will happen if it is given, if it is given, if it is given that, if it is given that event B has already happened? So this is what we call as inverse conditional probability. So probability of, sorry, this is called as conditional probability, not inverse conditional probability. So probability of A by B basically means probability of A intersection B into probability. So when we say probability of A by B means probability of A intersection B by probability of B. Understood everyone? Similarly, if I say what is the probability of B by A means what is the probability that event B will happen when A has already happened, that is probability of A intersection B by probability of A. So with this I can define that probability of A intersection B is actually probability of A by B into probability of B, or it can be probability of A intersection B is equal to probability of B by A into probability of A. Any doubt, anyone? Did you understand this? So like if you see this kind of question, see this, here I need to prove question number 37. What I need to do, this is given probability of A slash B dash. I hope you understand. Probability of A means probability of A means probability that event A happens. Probability of B means the probability that event B happens. Probability of B dash means 1 minus probability that event B has happened. I hope you understanding this. You all knows that. So like the way the formula what I told you, so probability of A by B dash. So it is given that the event B has not happened. What is the probability that event A happened? That will be equal to probability of intersection between A intersection of B dash divided by probability of B dash. I hope you understood this. Okay. This part everyone clear, right? Now guys, understand one thing. Now guys, understand one thing. If I draw a Venn diagram, so in this Venn diagram, if I draw this Venn diagram, so in this Venn diagram, if this is Venn diagram, where this means event A, this means event B. Okay, so this is basically A intersection B. I believe everyone knows this. This is basically A intersection B. This is basically A intersection B dash. This is basically A dash not happening intersection of B. And sum total of this, what is there shaded, that is A union B. A union B. The sum total of this is A union B, which is outside, that is neither A intersection of neither B. Can you understand this? Which is outside this Venn diagram. So everything is universal set. So this is your universal set, which value is 1. So probability of A union B plus probability of A not happening, intersection of B not happening, that would be 1. Okay, and A minus B is actually A intersection of B dash, which I can write as probability of A union B minus probability of B. Like this I can write, or I can write this as probability of A minus probability of A intersection B. Everyone, are you getting this? So A intersection B dash is basically this area. So if I'm saying A intersection B dash is actually this area. So this I can write either I can write this as A union B minus probability of B, probability of A union B minus probability of B, or probability of A minus probability of A intersection B. So anything I can write this, I can write as probability. This I can write as probability of A minus probability of A intersection B, and probability of B dash I can write 1 minus probability of B. And here they gave you the probability of B is not 1. So denominator cannot be 0, value cannot be undefined. This is what you have to prove. This is what we have to prove. So when we do Bayes theorem is basically it's the inverse of conditional probability. Right now we are trying to understand conditional probability. Anyone, any doubt? Done, right? This clear, right, everyone? Here if you see the problem, probability that event A happen is 5 by 8, B happen is 3 by 8, A union B is given. A union B is given 3 by 4. So you know the formula, probability of A union B is probability of A plus probability of B minus probability of A intersection B. So I can find the probability of A intersection B. For that I can write that is equal to probability of A plus probability of B minus probability of A union B. So probability of A intersection B, probability of A is 5 by 8, probability of B is 3 by 8 minus 3 by 4. So this will be 8 by 8 means 1 minus 3 by 4 means 1 by 4. So you get probability of A intersection B. 1 minute, guys.